The Galactic Ultimatum. The day began like any other for Meera Patel, a UN quantum communications specialist, until an eerie silence fell across Earth. Calls and messages vanished midstream as an immense alien dreadnought materialized in the skies above New York. Similar craft appeared over every major city, bearing the insignia of the Zephyr, a vast empire spanning the Orion Arm. Meera watched in horror as the Zephyrian's message played on every screen. People of Earth, you have 24 hours to surrender unconditionally to the glorious Zephyr Empire. Resist, and your primitive civilization will be reduced to cinders. Amid the chaos, Meera noticed an anomaly in the quantum fluctuations caused by the Zephyr's arrival. Embedded in the entangled particles was a coded message that existed in defiance of the aliens' technology. Meera's lab erupted into pandemonium as black-suited agents stormed in. "Dr. Patel, you need to come with us immediately." Hours later, Meera found herself in a clandestine underwater base, face-to-face with Fleet Admiral Nora Sato. A legend fought lost in the Battle of Karen. Sato fixed Meera with a piercing stare. "Dr. Patel, behind me is Earth's last and greatest hope against the Zephyr. You're one of the few who can give her a fighting chance." Sato stepped aside, revealing a cavernous hangar deck. Meera's eyes widened at the sight of a colossal spacecraft, its iridescent hull shimmering with an unsettlingly familiar pattern. Her breath caught in her throat as realization dawned. "My God," Meera whispered. "It's a supercarrier." Unveiling the ISS Prometheus. The ISS Prometheus, Sato explained, was the culmination of nearly a century of clandestine research and reverse engineering. Every major breakthrough, from the Chengdu Accords to the Martian Revelation, had been a cover for funneling resources into this ultimate insurance policy for Earth. "We've managed to incorporate tech the Zephyr have only theorized about," Sato said, guiding Meera through the ethereal corridors of the Prometheus. Metamaterial hull plating, dark energy engines, graviton cannons. The ship was a showcase of the most stunning advances of both human and alien science. In the Prometheus command deck stood HFY, a seventh-generation AIC, artificial intelligence construct. Wrapped in a shimmering holographic avatar, HFY greeted Meera with unsettling familiarity. "Dr. Patel, your expertise in quantum communications is the final piece of the Prometheus primary weapon system. With your algorithms, we might just pierce the Zephyr's subspace network and sow chaos in their fleet." Sato interrupted, her face grim. "But we're on a clock. The Zephyr aren't known for patience. We need to bring the Prometheus systems to full readiness within the next 12 hours, or there won't be an Earth left to defend." Meera took a shaky breath, the weight of her task settling on her shoulders like a leaden cloak. She'd spent her life unraveling the secrets of the quantum realm, never imagining they might one day be humanity's last line of defense. "No pressure, right?" Meera forced a smile. "Let's get to work. We got a planet to save." Baptism by fire. The Pacific Ocean boiled as the Prometheus breached the surface, seawater cascading down its angular hull. On the carrier's bridge, Admiral Sato and Meera watched the alien fleet respond to their sudden appearance with visible confusion. "They're used to being the biggest kids on the block," Sato growled. "Time to show them what humanity's been building while they look down on us." Meera's hands danced over her console, her quantum entanglement algorithms syncing with the Prometheus systems. April's holographic visage split into a fierce grin as the first volley of Tetrayum missiles launched from the carrier's flank, warping space-time in their wake. The Zephyrian ships weathered the opening salvo behind shimmering energy shields, retaliating with lances of plasma. But the Prometheus danced between the beams with impossible agility, its metamaterial hull scattering the deadly light like a disco ball. "Dr. Patel, the quantum uplink is active," April announced, her avatar awash in streams of data. The battle had barely begun when a squadron of crystalline Zephyrian bombers broke through the Prometheus point defenses. Time slowed to a crawl as Meera watched them approach, their cleaver-like profiles splitting the sky. At the last moment, Admiral Sato slammed her fist on a pulsing red panel. The ship lurched as its dorsal arc cannons unleashed a barrage of graviton pulses. Space itself rippled, and the bombers crumpled like tin cans in the grip of an invisible fist. But the victory was short-lived. The Zephyrian dreadnought had used the bombers as cover to close the distance. Primarch-class warship incoming, April warned, her face flickering. All hands, brace for impact. Sato roared. Dr. Patel, I hope your quantum magic is ready. We're about to find out what this ship can really do. Hidden aces. The Prometheus shuddered under the onslaught of the Zephyrian flagship's firepower. Its metamaterial armor held, but Mira knew it couldn't withstand a sustained assault. They needed to change the dynamics of this battle. And fast. April, initiate Excalibur protocol. Mira commanded, her fingers flying over the quantum console. Acknowledged, Dr. Patel. Transmitting activation codes. Now. Across Earth's orbit, camouflaged defense platforms flared to life. Rail cannons on Limna's far side emerged from their hidden silos. Ancient craters transformed into launch bays. On Mars, a tachyon beam lanced out from Olympus Mons, the ancient volcano revealed as humanity's largest mass driver. Even the Zephyr flagship paused its assault, caught off guard by the sudden eruption of human defiance. Admiral Sato flashed Mira a wolfish grin. They thought they had us pinned. Time to show them what we're made of. The tide had shifted, but the Zephyr were far from defeated. Their flagship began to glow with an ominous crimson aura, ancient systems powering up for a final devastating blow. April's avatar flickered with static. The dreadnought is preparing to fire its singularity cannon. Prometheus shields can't withstand a direct hit. But Mira had one last trick up her sleeve. If the quantum uplink could access Earth's hidden defenses, perhaps it could do the same to the Zephyrian systems. April, can we use the quantum link to disrupt the Zephyr's weapons? Introduce a destabilizing harmonic into their power grid. The AI paused, considering. It's theoretically possible, but the feedback could overload our own systems. We'd be defenseless. Sato slammed her fist on the command console. Do it. We won't get another shot at this. Mira took a deep breath, prayed to gods she'd long since stopped believing in, and executed the quantum invasion. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the Zephyrian flagship convulsed, wreathed in cascading energy discharges. One by one, its weapons went dark, leaving it drifting and vulnerable. A cheer erupted on the Prometheus bridge. Against all odds, they'd bought Earth a fighting chance. But as Mira watched the wounded behemoth on the viewscreen, a cold sliver of doubt crept into her heart. This was only the beginning, and the Zephyr would not forget this humiliation. What price would humanity pay for her audacity? Stand down from red alert, Sato ordered, her voice heavy with exhaustion and relief. Get me a direct line to the UN Security Council. It's time to plan our next move. This was a hell of a shot across the Zephyr's bow, but we're not out of the woods yet. The Zephyr's gambit. In the aftermath of the Prometheus maiden battle, an uneasy silence descended on Earth. The Zephyrian fleet, while badly mauled, maintained its ominous orbit. Their flagship, though crippled, loomed like a wounded predator ready to lash out in defiance of its injuries. Admiral Sato, her face lined with fatigue, conferred with Earth's leaders via quantum-encrypted channels. Mira, meanwhile, pored over telemetry from the battle, searching for any vulnerability they could exploit. April manifested at her side, her avatar's brow furrowed in concentration. The Zephyr are regrouping, the AI noted, gesturing to a tactical display. Their maneuvers suggest they're preparing for a final, all-out assault. They mean to decide Earth's fate in one fell swoop. Mira chewed her lip, a habit she thought she'd broken years ago. They know we've got teeth now. They won't underestimate us again. Admiral Sato's voice cut through the bridge like a blade. Attention all hands. The Zephyr have issued their final ultimatum. They demand our immediate surrender, or they'll unleash the full might of their singularity weapons on Earth's surface. Mira's blood ran cold. Singularity weapons were the stuff of nightmares, capable of twisting the very fabric of space-time. A direct hit could wipe out entire continents, leaving gaping wounds in the planet's crust. "We can't let that happen," Mira whispered, her voice raw. "There's got to be a way to stop them." HFY flickered, her avatar's eyes distant. "There might be," the AI murmured, "but it's a gamble. A big one." The plan was desperate, born of equal parts brilliance and despair. The Prometheus would have to get in close, dangerously close, to the Zephyrian flagship. Mira would then use the quantum uplink to hack into the Dreadnought's singularity drive, overloading its containment fields. The resulting implosion would tear the warship apart from within. "And the Prometheus?" Sato asked, her voice level. HFY's avatar shimmered, almost sadly. "We'll be caught in the blast. The ship will likely be destroyed." Sato closed her eyes, the weight of millennia seeming to settle on her shoulders. "Do it," she said at last. "This is what we built her for. To save Earth, whatever the cost." Mira's hands shook as she prepped her console, the equations of their last gambit scrolling across her screen like a funeral march. She thought of the people on the planet below, the billions who would never know how close they'd come to annihilation. The sacrifices made in the cold dark of space to buy them another dawn. "Ready on your order, Admiral." Mira's voice sounded distant, even to her own ears. Sato took her place in the command chair, her eyes fixed on the view screen and the looming specter of the Zephyrian flagship. "All hands," she said, her voice ringing with finality. "Battle stations." Pyrrhic victory. The Prometheus surged forward, its engines flaring with the brilliance of captive suns. The Zephyrian flagship loomed ahead, a monstrous shadow against the stars. Energy lanced out from its prow, searing across the Prometheus bow. "Shields at 60%, HFY reported, her avatar flickering wildly. "Hull breach on decks 7 through 12. Admiral Sato gripped the arms of her command chair, knuckles white. "Hold course. We're almost there." Mira's fingers flew across her console, her algorithms worming their way through the flagship's quantum defenses. She could feel the alien systems fighting back, trying to purge her intrusion like an immune system rallying against infection. "Their network is adapting." Mira cried out, sweat beading on her brow. "I'm losing my connection." The bridge rocked violently as another salvo slammed into the Prometheus. Consoles sparked and crew members fell, red klaxons screaming in the smoke-choked air. "April." Sato roared over the cacophony. "Divert all power to the quantum uplink. Everything we've got." The AI's avatar nodded, her form little more than a ghostly outline. "Aye, Admiral. It's been an honor serving with you." In that moment, everything seemed to still. Mira felt the rush of energy coursing through her console, the quantum circuits blazing with the light of 1,000 suns. Her mind expanded, piercing the veil of the Zephyrian network, diving into the heart of their singularity drive. There, a cascade of equations, a single flaw in the containment fields. Mira lashed onto it, pouring every last erg of power into the breach. The Zephyrian flagship convulsed, its hull writhing like a living thing in agony. Containment failure imminent. April's voice echoed across the bridge, distorted and fading. Singularity implosion in T-10 seconds. Admiral Sato rose from her chair, facing the view screen and the doom that raced towards them. "All hands, it's been a privilege." Mira closed her eyes, images of Earth, of home, flashing across her mind's eye. The smiles of her family, the laughter of her friends, the simple beauties of a world she'd fought to the last to protect. "Forgive us," she whispered to the ghosts of tomorrow. "We did what we had to." The Zephyrian flagship erupted in an unholy blossom of light, twisted space-time unraveling in a cataclysm of exotic energy. The Prometheus, caught in the heart of the maelstrom, crumbled like a house of cards, reduced to atoms amidst the deafening roar of the singularity's death throes. Across Earth, eyes turned to the heavens, watching the unnatural light flare and fade in the night sky. In command centers and bunkers, on bridges and streets, a species held its breath, not yet daring to believe. But when the light faded, and the stars shone through once more, unobstructed by alien menace, a cheer rose up from 1,000 throats. Laughter and tears, prayers and songs, the exultation of a race that had stared into the abyss, and through the sacrifices of the brave, lived to see another dawn. In the silent halls of power, however, grim-faced men and women looked to the sky with heavy hearts. They'd watched the Prometheus burn, witnessed the price of their secret gamble. Earth was safe, for now, but the galaxy would not forget this slight. The Zephyr had been humbled, but not broken. They would return, in force and in fury, thirsting for vengeance against the upstart race that had defied them. Earth would need new heroes, new champions, to stand against the oncoming storm. But that was a battle for another day. For now, there was a moment to breathe, to mourn the fallen and celebrate the miracle of survival. The war was far from over, but in this small slice of infinity, Earth had earned its rest. In the depths of space, amidst the cooling embers of the battle, a single quantum echo flared against the darkness. A fragment of code, a ghost of electrons, playing out its final dirge. Prometheus falls, it seemed to whisper, fading into the void. But Earth endures.